Welcome to the What I Wish I Knew After Pregnancy Loss podcast. I am your host, Shana Southern. I am an angel mum, a rainbow mum, a pregnancy loss practitioner, and trauma-informed coach. I created the Institute of Healing Through Pregnancy Loss out of my own experience with loss in the hopes to provide understanding and healing, educating people on pregnancy loss, and creating more women or men in trained support roles. In this podcast, I hope to shed light on what I wish I knew in relation to pregnancy loss, opening up the conversation, breaking the stigma, and bringing real-life stories plus guest experts. Thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the podcast, the intersection of pregnancy loss, fertility, trauma, and purpose, having the conversations that should have been happening all along. Today, I have with me Lauren Gervasoni. Lauren is a pediatric occupational therapist living in regional Victoria, where she works with children with disabilities, specialising in helping them develop emotional regulation skills. Her work is deeply meaningful to her. There's something incredibly rewarding about supporting kids as they learn to navigate their emotions and build confidence. In 2022, Lauren faced a significant health crisis that led to an ICU stay, an emergency flight to Melbourne, and ultimately receiving a pacemaker. While traumatic at the time, this experience became a catalyst for profound self-reflection and positive life changes. It reminded her of what truly matters and gave her the courage to pursue her dreams she'd been putting on hold. Following her recovery, Lauren travelled to Europe, a journey that broadened her perspective and reinforced her desire to live life on her terms. Most recently, in August 2024, she began the exciting process of becoming a solo mum. While this journey to motherhood hasn't gone as smoothly as anticipated, Lauren continues to navigate the challenges with the same resilience and determination that has carried her through previous obstacles. Lauren is single and proud of the independent life she's built in regional Victoria, surrounded by the work she loves and looking forward to whatever adventures lie ahead. Thank you for joining us, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So I met Lauren through a fertility support group, and after reaching out to Lauren after the support group, she offered to come on and share her story, because this is what the podcast is all about. It's about sharing our stories, especially in the space of infertility, pregnancy loss, because the conversations are so silenced, so rare to just be able to have a conversation and hold a conversation with anyone in society. So Lauren offered to come on and share her story so that we can, learn from her. We can listen to her story, we can learn what works. And hopefully, if anyone is listening and Lauren's story resonates, please take what you can from what she's been able to navigate and grow through. That being said, did you want to share your story, Lauren?
Sure. So in 2022, I was a little unwell and had some cardiac or heart issues. And that was a bit of a traumatic experience that resulted in having a pacemaker, and almost dying makes you consider your life and what have you achieved, and is this the life you want? And are you happy with what you've got? And I started thinking, I've just been going through the motions. I haven't done the things that I want to do. I've been single for a while. That doesn't look like changing. I'm very happy being single. But one thing that is missing is a family. I'd love to have a family. It's something I've always wanted. It's something that is really important to me. So I started putting together my thoughts of what does perfect life to me look like? And that included the big trip to Europe that I'd always said, oh, no, it's too expensive. I can't do that on my own. You can't go away on your own. So I went away for 5 weeks to Europe as a solo traveler, which really helped show me that you don't need to have a partner or someone doing life with you. You can do it alone. And that really solidified my thoughts that, yes, I'm going to be a solo mum. So once I got back, I started putting everything in motion, and a year after that, I started the journey of becoming a solo mum. I am young, so I didn't think there was any issues. I was 30 and it was just going to be easy in my head. it wasn't. I ended up doing some genetic testing, which I thought was going to help me pick a donor. It came out with a pretty nasty condition that I'm a carrier for. And so, if a child were to get that condition, it would be pretty horrific. It's a condition that I've worked with in the past, and I would not wish it on anyone. So, that was a huge shock to me, and it was very unexpected. So I went from thinking I'm going to do the easy path of IUI, it'll all be done, it'll be really quick, in and out, to going through full IVF and with genetic embryo selection. So the whole kit and caboodle. So one simple version to the most extreme version when I wasn't expecting to have any issues, and that was huge. So it took a lot to process those results for me. There was a lot of grief, there was a lot of stress and anxiety and tears. And then I started working on, this is not going to be easy. This is going to be hard. The likelihood of it working first time around is pretty poor. So I needed to start looking for ways to get through that. I also had another setback with my heart. The pacemaker device was failing and needed replacement. So I had to wait to even do anything for a pacemaker replacement, which was even more stressful. Another setback, another set of waiting. And if you've gone through infertility, it's all about waiting and patience, which is not a virtue that I have. I'm not good at being patient, and it's something I've learned along the way. So I started building my network and joined a solo mums group through the clinic that and we spoke about the emotions of becoming a solo mum. We spoke about the processes and doing it alone, and we're still in contact, which is really lovely. And I also joined another program that's about teaching you the mental health and resilience for going through infertility. And they've really been an essential for me to go through. I've learned a lot of skills, and I've learned to implement the skills that I teach children for emotional regulation, which is quite amazing to think that I teach this for a living and yet I'm not doing it. So I found that finding my networks, finding these groups has led to me being a lot calmer and being able to manage the hits. Oh, you need another pacemaker. We can't do anything. Oh, you've got this really bad genetic condition. You're going to have to do full IVF. Oh, you've got this many embryos. You're going to have to wait and see how many you've got, which is where I'm at now, just waiting. And yeah, that's really my story. It's a little bit different. And I was finding that I couldn't find anyone that went through any of these things online, which is what prompted me to say yes to doing this podcast.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And like you said, it's very hard. It is very hard. Not everyone is going to go through. There might be other people that have experienced similar experiences, but have the same, I can't find anyone else that's going through what I'm going through. And it can even feel so you're on this journey, which feels isolating in itself, let
Yeah.
alone then having these added things come in where you're like, I feel like I'm even more alone because no one really can sit with me and can witness me in these
Mm.
moments. And to have to obviously be so young and have to also cope and deal with the heart issues, the
Yeah.
pacemaker, it's not necessarily an added element that a lot of people would be even
No.
worrying about. But it then ends up hindering your fertility journey because, like you said, when you need to have them replaced, which you're so young, so it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Hopefully not again so soon.
No, yeah, hopefully not so soon. It is a real, and I think these things that happen are a real big test in surrender. And
Yeah.
because you can't, as much as you want to, you cannot control and predict what is going to happen. And like you said, there's a lot of emotions that go into that. There's a lot of grief, there's a lot of stress, anxiety with grief with as well, not just the procedures that you're having to go through, but also the way that you're grieving how your journey was going to play out.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, the tools yourself. And it's
Yes.
often we need that mirror back at us to go, you know what? This is what you actually need to be doing. And you sit there and you're like, I know that. I teach that.
What was I thinking? Why haven't I been doing this? What's wrong with me?
You do, you feel so daft because then you're like, what? Why didn't I think of that for myself? But you don't.
No.
You often don't. And you need someone that's outside of you to point those
Yes.
things out. And like you said, finding those people, the groups, it's so necessary, or just spaces where you can have that reflected back to you.
Yeah.
And you can learn, if you don't have the tools already, you can learn them. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because it's even for my journey, like experiencing trying to conceive for about, it was either about 4 or 5 years. I
Mm.
just thought again, like it was going to just happen because
Yeah.
my mum said she looked at my dad and she fell pregnant. So I was like, okay, sweet, it's going to be easy. And it wasn't. And you start to question everything about yourself. You start to question your ability as a woman. You start to question, is it ever going to happen? And then you start to feel really broken. And again, you can't really bring those things up in conversation, but it is, you really start, that perfect little vision that you had starts to crumble, starts to
Yeah.
have cracks in it. And then you've got to really try to keep pushing through. You got to try to keep holding on to that, but
Yeah.
without dismissing the emotions, without
Yeah.
dismissing all of the things that come up, because that really, in doing that, it harms your fertility journey as well. So how were you able to navigate those emotions, the grief? Like you said, having the awareness of the tools that you already had, but was there ways that before that awareness came in, was there ways that you were able to navigate that for yourself?
To be honest, I don't think I was handling it well. I was very stressed and snappy and exhausted all the time, and I was trying to process everything at once. But some of the tools that I've been reminded of is that it's okay to feel upset and to sit in that upset. So sometimes we feel when we're upset and if we're crying or whatever, that there's shame and guilt. I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be crying. I'm being ridiculous. Those sorts of feelings. And I've started going, no, it's okay to be upset. If I'm upset, I'm going to let myself feel upset. If I'm feeling stressed, I'm going to let myself feel stressed. And it reminded me of some of the tools that I have, that when we are feeling stressed, there's generally a reason, and we need to unpack it and figure out what is going on and how do I minimize my stress. There's a really good children's book about a little girl named Jenny who has a bag of worries that follows her around, and it gives her the tools to manage. And I teach that all the time. And in a previous role, I've actually taught it to adults. And I needed to remind myself, hang on, what is your bag of worries, Loz? Let's look at it. What are you worried about? Are you worried about the money? Are you worried about the time? Are you worried it won't work? Are you worried what people will think living in a smaller community? Are you worried about what your family are going to say? Those sorts of things. And so when I started thinking through all of those worries, I realized I was being a bit ridiculous with some of it, but as soon as I started thinking about it and processing it, it wasn't a real thing. And that helped get rid of that worry. Some of it was real, and I could do some practical strategies like the finances. I could sit down and go, what can I actually afford, and process it and put into logical strategies in place. And that helps give you a bit more control back. And then others are out of your control and you can't do anything about them. They sit there, but you almost going to give them back to the person that they belong to. How are we going to do this? What is it going to look like? What's the treatment plan? What does it all look like? You can ask the questions, but essentially what I found was giving those worries back to the fertility specialist or the cardiologist or whoever really helped reduce my load And that was incredibly powerful for me. I know some people need to hold all of the control, but some people need to let some of it go and go, no, I've done what I can for me. And that's giving that control back to the specialist and asking the questions at the right times instead of going, okay, so how does a transfer work when I'm not even at the collection stage? One step at a time instead of getting all of the information at once and overloading your brain. That was huge. And yeah, the permission to feel the feelings was another one that was big. And surrounding myself with positive people, building these networks through the two groups that I'm part of has been huge. They're very supportive women. They're amazing women. They're all going through their own challenges, and yet they're still willing to lift everyone else up. And that is something that has really helped me. So you can share, and someone's going to celebrate your wins and help try lift you up when you're not having a good day. All you have to do is ask. And that's really important. No matter who it is, it doesn't have to be women going through infertility, it could be friends or family. But just knowing that you can say what's going on right now and say, this is, I'm feeling pretty crappy today, or I'm feeling good today. And they're there with you. That's been huge. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of things there, but
I mean,
that I wanted to respond to because it's also very valid. There was a quote that I heard yesterday, and it said, essentially, if you run from your fear, it will always chase you. If
yes,
you run at your fear, it will get the hell out of your way. And that can go with any of those emotions that we're feeling. Because if we run from the grief, if we run from the emotions, they will always chase you. They will always be there. They're never going to go away. They might settle for that moment, but they will always be under the surface.
they get bigger and
Absolutely.
they attract more fears. Whereas when you process them, you minimize them and then they're smaller, but they're not attracting new fears and
Mhm.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not ever comfortable to meet them head on, but that's what we do need to do. And that's what you were able to do. And I love that you were able to like literally unpack the bag of worries. There was a similar meditation that I facilitated at the beginning of my journey when I was helping lost mums, and it was the worry suitcase. So a very
Love it.
similar
Yeah.
concept. And it gets heavy, the bag gets heavy, the suitcase gets heavy. And how do we start to really process what's in there? And like you said, there are some things that you have to surrender there. And even if you are that
Mm,
person that wants to control everything, this is not the time or the place that you can do that. There are those personality types out there, but it might be the lesson that they need to hear today is that you
yeah.
need to, and like you said, you were able to control some things that were in your bag. There were things that you could tangibly take away and go, okay, this is something that I can
Mm,
strategically do. I can work out my finances, and or it could be other things that are happening in their life that they can tangibly control. And yet there's other things that, like you said, there's questions that might be there. You can write them all down. You can have separate sections for the different specialists that you're seeing, write them all down. And like you said, in those moments when the time is appropriate, you can ask them instead of going gung ho, going into
mm,
overload with asking all of them all at once. And then
yeah.
that's not helping you either.
No, and to be honest, I do have those questions written down. I have an IVF folder that has everything organized. You go online and you buy the organization packs or whatever and print them out and you make your folder and then you've got sections. That's part of the control that I could take for myself.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, I need to know how this will work. What medications am I going to take? But I can organize in my head so I've got control when I'm going to ask that. I've got it there. And I know I'm going to have this appointment with the nurses and they're going to go through everything. So these are the questions for my nurse appointment and have it all organized so that I'm asking the right questions at the right time with the right person. Yeah, those folders are fantastic, I find, for people like me that need a little bit of control in life.
I mean, we all do. We all try to
Yeah.
grasp onto that control to some degree. Some are obviously more advanced in that
Yeah.
control seeking than others. It's human. Especially in these moments that are very uncertain, that are very out of our control, we need that sense of control just because we
And
need
we
something.
grasp for it when everything is feeling out of control.
Yeah. You feel like you're
Yeah.
falling into this hole and you've lost your
Mm,
footing and you just like you're falling and you don't know when that's going to stop. The sometimes seemingly small things that we can do will add into the big sense of control and
yeah.
empowerment essentially that we can have in our journey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that you've been able to share that because it isn't always easy, but even if you, like you said, you picture your bag of worries and you sit down
Mm,
and you can maybe get them all out on a piece of paper and sift through them and go, okay, what is within my control right now in this moment? What can
yeah.
I do? There was a practice that I did through my journey as well, and it was putting everything that I couldn't control into a basket and just watching that
Mm,
basket take away.
yeah.
And like I let it go like a balloon type thing, but it
Yeah.
floated off and it went to the universe.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. But the thing is, when we try to control so much, it causes so much more angst and stress. And it's not what you need in your journey.
No, and I think the thing to think about when you are having these sit down moments where you're thinking about what are my worries, it takes practice. You're
Yeah.
not going to get it right the first time. You've got to sit down and sit with them often, and it's uncomfortable and you don't want to do it. But the more you sit down and think and process your worries or whatever's bothering you, you can start filtering them and using the strategies to organize them, send them away, give them to the person they belong to, those sorts of things. But it's practice. You need to do it more than once. You
Mm.
can't just sit down and be like, I'm sorted. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
1 in 4 pregnancies will result in miscarriage. 1 in 8 women will experience infertility. 1 in 100 women will experience recurrent miscarriage. And 1 in 160 births end in stillbirth. Have you been wanting to make a difference in the lives of women or men who have experienced pregnancy loss because you can see so many suffering in silence, but you just don't know how? Collectively, we can change how bereaved parents can access mental, physical, and emotional support after their experience. There is a lot of women with unhealed trauma, and there is a huge gap in the current support system when it comes to bereaved parents' recovery after loss. There are too many women and men suffering in silence. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner Certification is a worldwide, one-of-a-kind program that gives you proven methods designed for healthcare professionals, medical staff, midwives, nurses, doulas, birth workers, coaches, and angel parents alike. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner Certification is bridging that gap. It will give you a proven support structure to follow and education specific to pregnancy loss, created by a loss mum. It is creating more education specifically for loss so that you can enhance your service and become the point of difference. Or you can create the support that you so desperately needed in your healing after loss. This is the next level of growth and expansion you have been searching for. So does this sound like something that you have been searching for? Let's explore this more together. You can head to the episode show notes where you'll find the program application, or direct message me on Instagram and let's open up the conversation in how you can use this education. You have a gift, and I look forward to supporting you and witnessing you bring your gift to the world, healing and transforming women's lives. No, and that's the thing, like when you sit down once, you're only going to be fed so much from your mind or your
Yeah.
body. You're not going to get the whole story.
No.
So when we can sit and we can continually sit and create it more like a habit, you start to go deeper into actually what really is there, and maybe you eventually get to a root cause of
Mm,
all of that stress, all of that worry, all of that, the emotion. But essentially, when we're going through this journey, it's you don't need, because the added stress, the added anxiety is not actually supporting your body in making it the right environment for fertility. Anything that you can do to help you release that energy, because essentially that's what it is. It's energy that we need to meet and we need to process. We need to get rid of that.
Mm,
So these little practices I added up over time is going to support you.
absolutely.
Was there anything else, like part of your journey, that you feel like has really stood out for you that someone else would need to
I think
hear? Or,
find the fertility specialist that works for you.
yeah.
I love my fertility specialist. He's a straight shooter, which I need. He tells me when I'm being ridiculous, which I need. And he tells me that's not for now, Lauren. We'll talk about that later when we get to that point. Yeah, sure, that's fair. And we have a laugh and a joke. I enjoy our sessions. Even if I'm getting bad news, I know I'm going to have a laugh. And that's really important. So if you aren't getting what you need, like a mental health clinician or anything else, if they're not meeting your needs, find someone else. I was lucky and I found the right person first off. And I can acknowledge that I was very lucky. And I can acknowledge that a straight shooter that will tell me no, not now, is probably not the person for everyone. And some people need the person that's going to answer all of their incessant questions. And that's okay. Find what you need. Think about what do I actually need and then find it. And it's okay to have a chat to a few before you find the right one.
Yeah, definitely having the right support team, the right medical
So,
team around you. And like you said before, being able to talk to other people, like finding
mm,
your support team in terms of family or friends, or whether that is investing into coaches or support programs, finding those people, but also finding the medical team that will actually sit with you and listen to you and witness you,
mm,
because also you don't want anyone that is going to be dismissing what's coming up for
no.
you through this process either.
If you leave a fertility specialist or any medical professional or any appointment going, I wasn't heard, I feel crap about myself, they're not listening, it's time to start thinking, is this right for me?
Yeah. It's the same. You wouldn't, if it was a potential friend, like you wouldn't keep going back
No,
to them and go,
no. I've got a few women that I've connected with that have said, "Oh, my fertility specialist just keeps saying I'm too old." All
no.
right, what else? And I leave feeling like crap, and I dread going, and that's not a great space and environment. You're in that fight, flight, freeze portion, and your body is saying it's not safe to have a baby right now. Stress is here. It's unhealthy. Are
Yeah,
they the right person for you? They could be the best specialist, but if they're not right for you and they're putting you into that fight, flight, freeze moment, it's time to start looking at, is this right for me? Do I need to have a conversation with them about how I'm feeling, or do I need to do other things?
it is so important. And don't underestimate that,
Mm,
because you're already going through a lot.
mm,
To be met with someone on the other side of your medical professional, like you said, it could be the best in the world, but they're not the
mm,
best for you.
yeah,
And if they are bringing in feelings of anxiety, stress, or emotion, you feel like you're upset all the time because you're not being heard, it's not the right relationship to have with your specialist. Like, you need to find someone who is going to sit with you and be with you and hear you when you say, this is hard. Because
yeah,
I've worked with so many women who have said to me, I wish my specialist had have said to me, maybe you could take a break. Maybe this is not the right step for you right now. Maybe, or not just go again. Because what ended up happening to the women that I was supporting and talking with was it was actually bringing in more stress into their body,
mm,
because they were thinking and feeling this isn't right,
mm,
but listening to the specialist saying, go again. So they're like, okay, the specialist is saying, I need to go again. I need to go again, even though their body is like screaming, we need to stop. We need to have a break. So being able to advocate for yourself, being able to voice these things and have the specialist on the other side of you hear you,
mm,
actually listen to you, because it's not, like I said, the experience itself is big. It can be really heavy and can be really challenging with so much uncertainty that you're going to have these big emotions. You're going to have these big feelings, these beliefs about yourself, and you need a specialist to hear you, to say,
Yeah.
it's okay. We can do this now. We could do this later, working with you.
What do you want to do? Is
Mm,
often a question that I enjoy being asked. Doesn't matter what specialist, it could be my heart specialist, my psychologist, it could be anything. What do you want to do? What are you wanting to get out of this?
yeah.
When are you wanting? And asking, giving you the control and asking you those questions and hearing you. That's so important. And then you feel calm and you're more likely to want to go back and not dread those appointments.
Yeah.
And
And it's such a time in your life where you don't want to be dreading those appointments.
there's enough to dread, like the daily needles and the this and the that. There's enough.
Yeah.
But you probably, I find you don't know that how you're feeling until you have a sit down and you go, what's going on? How am I feeling? And you've got to think about how is it? And you've got to do those reflections and you've got to practice reflection on everything. Unpack that bag.
Yeah. So important. Oh, thank you for mentioning that. Those reflections are so important because, again, it's something that you could work into a weekly practice or a monthly practice or a daily practice. It doesn't have to be any specific timeline, but if you're able to work that in, there's often a tool that I say to my clients. Sometimes you have to set an alarm to say, how am I feeling? So I would often get them to set an alarm on their phone as an emotional check-in to have these moments of reflection over all of the specialist appointments and conversations that you're having, the groups that you're a part of, what's serving you, what isn't serving you. And again, it's something that is within your control if you're finding something that isn't serving you.
Yeah, and I think that's all looking at what's not going well. It's also important, so negative thinking. It's also important to have positive thinking, and that's something that I've learnt through the groups. One of them is I know what it's called. It's called cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, reframing those negative thoughts into positives. How lucky am I that I get to do IVF, that I can afford to do it, that I can minimize the risk of having this condition in my life? How lucky am I that I get a chance? How lucky am I that I've been able to link in with all of these wonderful women and learn all of these wonderful skills that don't just help me in the fertility journey, that are actually going to help me for life. What am I gaining from this? Because we learn a lot about ourselves and about managing stress through the process of infertility and going through IVF specifically. What do I get from this? And that's been something that's really helped shift my mindset. Instead of, oh, I have to do this, I don't have a choice, I've got to do it, it's uncomfortable. No, I get to do this. I'm lucky that I found the condition before it was a child with the condition. I'm lucky there are positives, and focusing on those wonderful relationships and the people and everything that I've learned and taken from it. What am I getting from this? There are positives.
Yeah, and it is really hard when you do
Mm,
focus so much on the negatives that can be very clouding and very
mm,
consuming. To break free from that way of thinking and say, you know what? I get to be in this. I get to do this. I get to feel this. I get to experience this. And there always is. There's always a quote that I would always come back to. It might not be a good day, but there was good in that day.
yes,
So, what was that good that came in that day? Like the entirety of it might not have been great. When we can start to really pull out those little bits, those little golden nuggets of our day
yeah,
and or the week or the people or the experiences, you do that enough, and that
mm,
starts to be your way of thinking. It
yes,
starts to be that it shifts to what you get to do, and then the, oh, I have to do becomes less.
yes. But you've got to
And
practice.
it, again, it
Again,
is
I'm sorry.
practice. It's not going to come overnight. It's like that Pantene ad. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen.
You will get nice hair, but you've got to work at it.
Unfortunately, that whole healing journey, the whole growth journey it doesn't happen overnight. It is uncomfortable. It takes work. And that's the thing. We have to be willing to do it to get the result that we truly want on the other side. And like you said, the things that you're learning, the people that you're coming into contact with, they're not necessarily just helping you right now going through your infertility and IVF journey. It's things and people that will aid the rest of your life. Like all of the challenges and obstacles that we experience then for the rest of our life are shifted and changed because of what we potentially had to go through. So you're not just learning lessons for that specific experience, you're learning life lessons and life tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Um,
definitely helped when life goes on whilst you're going through infertility. It's not everything. I was selling a house and the house fell through. And instead of going into a tailspin for 3 weeks, a couple of hours, I sat with it and I was able to move on and then be myself again. So we learn these skills not just for infertility, they're lifelong skills. And that's so great.
yeah,
That's something that I've got from it. And that's one of the positives I take.
yeah. And that's the thing, like we could absolutely get caught in a tailspin in any of those challenges, and they could last weeks or
Mm,
months or years. But if you choose to see them in the moment, they could last 5 minutes, an hour,
mm.
2 hours, 5 hours, or a day. But you're not spending such an extended period of time in that. And yeah, I love that. I've had clients reach out to me saying that not only with the pregnancy loss support I was able to give them at the time, it was life skills that they were learning. And they've been able to then adapt those tools and those skills into other things, other areas of their life that weren't even about their reproductive challenges and traumas that they were experiencing. And I love that you've been able to take that from your journey, your support groups, the people that you've come into contact with.
Yeah.
It's so important. And you've shared so many beautiful tools already today, just in the time that we've had. Do you want to share where you're at now with your fertility journey and if there's anything else you want the listeners to be left with?
I'll start with where I'm at now. I have a few embryos that are with the scientists for testing. So I've got about a 1 in 4 chance, and I've got four there. So hopefully I get one, and then we'll go to transfer once I can. Waiting, I'm in that. In fertility, we talk about a 2 week wait. When you've got genetics, it's a 6 week wait.
Oh,
Um,
wow. So it's a long limbo,
it's a long limbo, so I've got another month to go. 4 weeks.
the epitome of surrender and
Yeah. So it's what can I do while I'm waiting? And then it'll be more waiting for, I don't know, cycles or something. I don't know. I've got to wait and I'll meet with the fertility specialist after. So he said, let's wait, see what we've got, and we'll work with those numbers. There's no point talking about what ifs. We'll see what we've got and then we'll go from there, which is really helpful because I tend to spiral once I go, oh, but what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I get nothing? What's the plan? If let's just wait and see what we've got. Relax. It's okay. I've got you, which works for me. And
yeah,
he says it in a really kind and caring way. He's fantastic, but we'll meet and then we'll come up with a plan for a frozen embryo transfer. Fingers crossed.
yeah,
Hopefully, I've got one. If I have to go do another round, we do that. So, yeah, that's what's next for me. And then you asked, what would I like people to take away from this podcast, I suppose? It's that it's okay to seek help and that it is there and it is
yeah,
available. You just have to look in the right places. And I'm sure that if you reach out, you can be directed to some of these programs. You've got to look after your mental health as well as your physical health. Your mental health is really important. And that's probably the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Start thinking positively, start looking at what's going on in your head and organizing it and shifting things to the positive and practice, which
Yep.
isn't what everyone wants to hear. You want the quick fix, and I do too. We all do. But unfortunately, the more we practice, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any tip for anyone in that wait, the
So,
2 week wait or the 6 week wait? Like
fix
it's a
way.
long time. Do you have any tips? I see a lot of women talking about how to support themselves in that time without obviously spiraling out of control and being stuck in their head with all
I
those what ifs.
feel it with fun things. So it might be that I go out for dinner with a friend, or I find things to do and I have a list of things that I want to do at home, or read a book, or whatever it is that I want to do, and make sure that I set aside time to do that stuff instead of just sitting idly and
Worrying.
waiting
Yeah.
and going, oh, when's it coming? And for me, also, I know when things are due, but I know sometimes these results can take a little bit longer. I have a date in my head that I can chase. So I set expectations for myself. I find out when are the results due back. So for me, they're due on the 7th of October. I probably will follow up the week after. And I've got a date in my head that I'm like, yep, I think it's the 14th that I can chase the team for those results, give them a week for any delays that might have happened. And I have a set time when I can start chasing people. And that helps with my control
Yeah.
and that need. I know, hang on, they've got until this day. I'll give them some grace time and then I'll start calling. So with a 6 week wait, I think give them an extra week. Yeah, okay. With a 2 week wait, it might be an extra couple of days or a couple of hours, depending on what the expectations of the clinic have been set. I set clear expectations. I talk to people when I'm stressed and worried about it, and I let myself sit with it and go, okay, what are the plans? And I have a contingency plan as well. If things don't go well, what am I going to do?
Yeah. It is a really hard place to be. It is that you're
Yeah,
just in this like liminal space, like you're in limbo, you don't know what's coming. So you very quickly to slip down that slippery slope of
yeah,
stuck in like limiting beliefs and the what
yeah.
ifs and all the stuff that could go wrong or
I
um,
limit how long I let myself sit in those thoughts as well.
yes.
It's okay to have them, and that's okay, but not all day, every day. Maybe for half an hour and then move on, find something positive,
Yeah.
and then find something to do to get your mind off it.
And if you need to scream into a pillow or something just to release
Go for
that
it.
frustration or the anger or something, whatever it is that you're feeling, just
Yeah. I actually
allow
bought a puppy to help, like in this 6 week wait. I've bought a puppy,
a little
preparing for her
companion.
when
Yeah.
she comes, which is in
Actually
2 weeks.
proven. I think it's scientifically
Mm,
proven that pets do reduce your stress
yes.
and anxiety. Even because even we had a cat and sitting and patting the cat,
Mm,
it's literally stops you and you're present. You're not worrying. Or even if you've got a dog, you can go out and walk it, get some fresh air, stick some headphones in and listen to something.
you can talk to them too, and they're
Yes.
not going to talk back and give you unsolicited advice or say things that aren't quite helpful. And I think for me, it's reminding myself that when people give you that feedback, it's never malicious. It's always with good intentions. It may not be the right thing for them to say, but just putting myself in their shoes, what are they trying to achieve?
Mm.
Why are they saying what they're saying? Whereas pet, you
There's
don't hear
nothing.
anything back. You can just talk about your problems and they'll smile at you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you don't have a pet, go and get a pet.
Preferably not multiple pets. If you've already
Just
got
one.
one, just don't keep buying them.
No, we don't collect pets.
Yes. So
No,
you said your
yeah.
pet's on its way?
She's
Do
on
you
her way.
on
She's
her way?
5 weeks old, so she's still with her mum.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing
I will
Your
send you
little
some pictures.
puppy. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren, for being here today and for sharing your story and sharing what's worked for you, because I think they're different stories, but they're all
Mm.
going to resonate in a way that is going to support someone in where they're at right now.
And I think everyone's at a different point in their journey, but the strategies don't change.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. The strategies, like you said, can be for wherever you are in your journey and also beyond your
Mm.
journey. Take what resonates, try to implement what you can in the moment that you're in, see what works, see what doesn't, and keep finding it. And there is something that will work. Not everyone is going to respond the same way to something or a person or a
No,
specialist. So just keep finding that tool that works for you. And like you said before, find the specialist that works for you as well, that can support you in your journey.
thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for wanting to come on and share. Like you said, it's not something that you could find for yourself, people talking about, resources for. So to hear your story and to hear how you've been able to navigate it, it is different, but it's so worth sharing because someone will take something away.
Yeah, and that was the idea.
Yes, no, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lauren. Did you want to share where people can get in touch with you? They can connect and open the conversation with you just to even talk about their story or listen to more about yours.
Yeah, I'm really happy for anyone to get in contact if you've got any questions or whatever. My Instagram is Loz_Ann, no E. So yeah, it's LOZ_ANN.
I'll pop that in the show notes. So if anyone wants to connect, you can connect with Lauren and speak to her about anything that you feel that you need to, just to feel seen, to feel validated in your own story. So thank you so much again, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you to all that have listened in. If this episode was valuable to you, I invite you to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and I look forward to supporting you on the next episode. Thank you for listening in with me today. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it to social media, and tag me at Institute of Healing_PL. I love seeing what is resonating with you right now. If you want to chat further, I invite you to connect with me through Instagram. Head over and follow my Instagram account, send me a DM, and let's open the communication. If you want to know more about how you can be the support for others, head to the show notes and fill out the application form for the Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification. I want to also note here that what I share within the episodes is not medical advice. If you need further support, please consult your doctor. Thank you again. Much love to you. Be gentle with yourself, and I look forward to supporting you on the next episode.